When you think about over-engineered machines, garden tractors might not be the first thing that comes to mind. But between the 1960s and 1990s, American manufacturers were building residential equipment with commercial-grade components that'd make a modern engineer scratch their head. These weren't your typical suburban mowers. These were tractors that combined farm tractor DNA with lawn care duty, creating machines that'll outlast most of what rolls off today's assembly lines. 12. Wheelhorse Commando. 8. Starting off our countdown is the Wheelhorse Commando 8, a machine that South Bend, Indiana produced for just 2 model years but left a lasting impression on anyone who ran one. Built in 1968 and 1969, this compact powerhouse packed an 8-horsepower Kohler K 181S single-cylinder engine into a 430-pound frame that was overbuilt for its size. What made the Commando 8 special wasn't just its air-cooled engine producing power at 3,600 RPM. It was the unidrive belt-driven transmission that Elmer Pond himself designed in just 60 days. This ingenious 3-speed gearbox gave operators precise control whether they were mowing with the 36-inch mid-mount deck or pushing snow with the front-mount blower. The transmission's simplicity and durability meant these machines kept running long after more complicated designs gave up the ghost. Wheelhorse built this tractor when the company was establishing its reputation for tough, reliable equipment. The Commando 8 featured a 41.3-inch wheelbase and came standard with 15 by 5.50 by 8 front tires and larger 20 by 8.50/12 rear tires. The mechanical independent PTO clutch ran at 3,000 RPM, providing enough grunt to power various attachments including mower decks, snow blowers, and blade systems. By modern standards, a top speed of 6 miles per hour forward and 2 miles per hour reverse seems leisurely. But that modest pace meant the Commando 8 prioritized torque over velocity, making it ideal for ground-engaging work. The 1.25-gallon fuel tank was enough for several hours of operation, and the simple splash-type lubrication system meant maintenance was straightforward enough for any homeowner. The Commando 8 represented Wheelhorse at a pivotal moment. The company was transitioning from crude post-war designs to more refined equipment, and this model showed they'd figured out how to build something both affordable and durable. Today, these tractors are sought after by collectors who appreciate the honest engineering and bulletproof construction that defined American manufacturing in the late 1960s. Shri Allis-Chalmers B112. The Allis-Chalmers B112 arrived on the scene in 1968 wearing the famous yellow and cream color scheme that made it instantly recognizable. This garden tractor brought agricultural tractor engineering principles to suburban yards, packing features that wouldn't be matched by competitors for years to come. At the heart of the B112 sat a Briggs & Stratton 3004 2.1 single-cylinder engine displacing 30.2 cubic inches and cranking out 12 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. This 4-cycle L-head design used an oiled foam air cleaner and splash lubrication, keeping complexity low while reliability stayed high. The battery ignition system and electric starter made cold starts painless, a feature that wasn't standard on competing models. What really set the B112 apart was its transmission. The belt-driven Vari-Shift variator offered 21 forward speeds and 7 reverse gears, giving operators unprecedented control over ground speed. This infinitely variable transmission allowed precise speed matching for different jobs. Mowing required one speed, tilling another, and the Vari-Shift delivered exactly what the task demanded without the jerky transitions of gear-driven systems. The implement lift system used a left-hand lever to control 3 PTO outlets positioned at the rear, mid, and front of the tractor. This meant the B112 could power attachments in any configuration, making it more versatile than most garden tractors twice its price. The controlled traction differential helped maintain grip in challenging conditions, while foot-operated clutch and brake pedals gave operators complete control. Weighing 745 pounds with a 48-inch wheelbase, the B112 struck a balance between stability and maneuverability. The 16 by 6.508 front tires and 23 by 8.50 by 12 rear tires provided excellent traction without tearing up lawns. With mower deck options of 42 or 48 inches, snow blowers, and even a front-end loader rated for 300 pounds at full height, this tractor proved that garden equipment didn't need to be limited to cutting grass. Before we move on to the next one in the list, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thanks to all of you who do. Desmatai Simplicity Sovereign Austin Pad Smith H. By the early 1990s, most manufacturers had figured out that homeowners wanted power and features, but few delivered both like Simplicity did with the Sovereign 18H. Built in Port Washington, Wisconsin from 1993 to 2000, this garden tractor embodied the philosophy that residential equipment could be engineered with commercial-grade components. The Sovereign 18H ran on a Kohler CH18 twin-cylinder engine, producing 18 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. This 624 cubic centimeters power plant featured overhead valves and a compression ratio of 8.5 to 1, delivering smooth, reliable power through its forced air cooling system. The Kohler side draft carburetor with an adjustable main jet allowed operators to fine-tune fuel delivery for different operating conditions and altitudes. Simplicity equipped this model with a belt-driven hydrostatic transmission offering infinite forward and reverse speeds. This setup eliminated the need for clutching and gear shifting, letting operators focus on the task at hand rather than managing the drivetrain. The hydrostatic system used 7.1 liters of transmission fluid and could push the Sovereign up to 8 miles per hour forward or 4 miles per hour in reverse. Standard features included manual steering, though power steering was available as an option for those wanting less effort during extended mowing sessions. The open operator station featured a comfortable padded seat and easy-to-reach controls. The 11.4-liter fuel tank provided enough capacity for several hours of operation without constant refueling stops. What made the Sovereign 18H truly special was Simplicity's proprietary rear roller system. This full-width roller followed behind the mower deck, creating those professional ballpark-style stripes that became a Simplicity trademark. The tractor accepted 42-inch or 48-inch mid-mount mower decks with hydraulic lift, along with front-mount blades and snow blowers for year-round utility. Deveni, Ingersoll Keturi Tukstanciai Sheshiolika. The Ingersoll 4016 represented the Wisconsin manufacturer's commitment to building tractors that could handle professional workloads while remaining accessible to homeowners. Produced in Winnicott from 1989 through 2004, this machine's 15-year production run speaks to its proven design and lasting popularity. Under the hood, the 4016 came with either an Onan P 216 twin-cylinder engine or a Briggs & Stratton 303777 unit, both producing 16 horsepower. The Onan version displaced 43.3 cubic inches with an 83mm bore and 73mm stroke, running at 3,600 RPM. This horizontal shaft, air-cooled design delivered reliable power through a compression ratio of 6.5 to 1, prioritizing torque over high-end horsepower. Ingersoll paired these engines with a shaft-driven hydrostatic transmission featuring 2 ranges and infinite forward and reverse speeds. This dual-range design gave operators the flexibility to work slowly for precision tasks or cruise faster when covering ground. The manual steering kept things simple and maintainable, while mechanical disc brakes provided reliable stopping power. The 4016's chassis measured 75 inches long with a 52-inch wheelbase, creating a stable platform for attachments. Ingersoll offered mower decks ranging from 44 to 60 inches, accommodating properties of different sizes. The front PTO with independent engagement meant operators could run attachments without affecting engine speed, improving efficiency, and extending component life. What distinguished the 4016 from competitors was Ingersoll's famous big wheel design. Those oversized tires weren't just for show, They provided superior traction in snow, better flotation in wet conditions, and a smoother ride over rough terrain. The elevated stance also meant better ground clearance for attachments, making this tractor capable of work that would bog down lower-slung machines. 8. Gravely 8179 KT Professional. When folks talk about over-engineered garden equipment, the Gravely 8179 KT Professional usually comes up early in the conversation. This machine from the early 1980s took the company's commercial equipment philosophy and adapted it for serious homeowners who demanded professional results. The heart of the 8179 KT was a Kohler KT 17 twin-cylinder engine producing 17 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. This cast-iron sleeve engine featured forced air cooling and a robust construction that could handle continuous operation under load. Gravely chose this engine specifically for its reputation for reliability and parts availability, ensuring owners could keep their tractors running for decades. Unlike most garden tractors that use belt-driven or hydrostatic transmissions, Gravely stuck with an all-gear transaxle. This 8-speed transmission featured 4 forward gears combined with a 2-speed differential, giving operators precise control while maximizing power transfer to the wheels. The mechanical linkage meant no slippage, no heat buildup, and no loss of power between the engine and ground. The 8179 KT's hydraulic lift system operated at 1,200 pounds per square inch with a pump flow of 1.7 gallons per minute. This wasn't decorative. It meant the tractor could lift heavy implements with authority and hold them in position all day long. The independent mid-PTO allowed operators to engage and disengage attachments without affecting travel speed, a professional feature rarely seen on residential equipment. Gravely built these tractors with cast-iron components where competitors used stamped steel. The frame was overbuilt, the axles were heavy-duty, and every fastener was sized for loads well beyond what the tractor would encounter in typical use. This philosophy meant the 8179 KT weighed more than its competitors, but that mass translated to stability and longevity. 7. Cub Cadet 1650. International Harvester's Cub Cadet division knew a thing or two about building tough equipment, and the 1650 brought that agricultural heritage to suburban yards. Manufactured in Louisville, Kentucky between 1974 and 1980, this garden tractor packed more features and capability than many small utility tractors of the era. The 1650 ran a Kohler K341 single-cylinder engine, displacing 35.9 cubic inches and producing 16 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. This cast-iron block design used full-pressure lubrication, a significant upgrade from the splash systems common on smaller engines. The 1.5-quart oil capacity meant longer service intervals, while the dry air cleaner kept contaminants out of the combustion chamber even in dusty conditions. Cub Cadet equipped the 1650 with a shaft-driven hydrostatic transmission manufactured by Sundstrand. This system offered infinite forward and reverse speeds, controlled by a foot pedal that gave operators precise speed control with just their right foot. The transmission held 7 liters of oil and featured a separate charge pump to maintain system pressure, ensuring consistent performance under varying loads. What really set the 1650 apart was its hydraulic system and Category 0 3-point hitch capability. The optional rear PTO spun at 2,000 RPM, powerful enough to drive ground-engaging implements like tillers and rear-mount mowers. The independent front PTO used an electric clutch spinning at 3,400 RPM, providing smooth engagement for mid-mount and front-mount attachments. The 1650's construction reflected International Harvester's agricultural equipment experience. The 44-inch wheelbase and 690-pound weight provided excellent stability, while wet disc brakes gave reliable stopping power in all conditions. The 12-volt electrical system with a 15-amp alternator ensured reliable starting and could power work lights for extended operating hours. Chest Bolens HT23. The Bolens HT23 stood as the flagship of the company's large frame series, and it earned that position through sheer capability. Built in Port Washington, Wisconsin from 1979 to 1987, this 23-horsepower monster brought small tractor features to garden tractor packages, creating a machine that could tackle jobs its size shouldn't have allowed. Powering the HT23 was a Kohler K582 twin-cylinder engine displacing 57.7 cubic inches, one of the largest engines fitted to a garden tractor of that era. This air-cooled powerhouse produced 23 horsepower at 3,600 RPM with a 3.5-inch bore and 3.0-inch stroke. The engine featured full-pressure lubrication with a 3.2-quart oil capacity, ensuring adequate cooling and protection even during extended high-load operation. Bolens paired this substantial engine with a shaft-driven hydrostatic transmission offering 2 ranges and infinite speeds within each range. This dual-range setup gave operators both the fine control needed for precision work and the speed to cover ground efficiently. The transmission held 10 quarts of oil, a massive capacity that kept operating temperatures in check and extended service intervals. At 1,100 pounds with a 52-inch wheelbase, the HT23 provided a stable platform for serious work. The mechanical disc brakes delivered powerful, fade-resistant stopping, while the 18 by 8.508 front and 26 by 12.0012 rear tires provided excellent traction. The ground clearance of 8.5 inches meant this tractor could navigate rough terrain and accommodate larger implements without dragging. The HT23 featured an independent mechanical PTO running at 2,000 RPM, capable of powering implements that would overwhelm smaller tractors. The optional category 0 3-point hitch transformed the HT23 into a genuine utility tractor, accepting implements designed for machines twice its size. With a 5-gallon fuel tank, this beast could work all day without frequent refueling stops. 5. Wheelhorse 520-H. The Wheelhorse 520H represented the pinnacle of the company's garden tractor lineup when it launched in 1988. Produced through 1997, this model combined Wheelhorse's traditional durability with features that anticipated what professional landscapers would demand in the coming decades. At the core of the 520H sat an Onan P220G opposed twin-cylinder engine producing 20 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. This 47.7 cubic inch power plant featured horizontal shaft construction with a bore and stroke of 3.25 by 2.88 inches. The Onan's design prioritized torque over peak horsepower, giving the 520H pulling power that belied its modest displacement. Wheelhorse equipped this tractor with an Eaton 1100-032 hydrostatic transmission offering infinite forward and reverse speeds. The belt-driven system provided smooth operation and easy maintenance, though it required owners to keep an eye on belt tension and condition. The transmission's 7.1-liter oil capacity helped maintain consistent performance even during extended operation. The 520H's frame measured 67 inches long with a 47.5-inch wheelbase, creating a platform that balanced maneuverability with stability. Weighing 665 pounds without the mower deck, this tractor felt substantial without being cumbersome. The mechanical band brakes provided reliable stopping power, while the manual steering kept control simple and direct. Front PTO engagement used a mechanical clutch spinning at 3,200 RPM, capable of driving mower decks up to 60 inches wide. The hydraulic lift system made raising and lowering implements effortless, reducing operator fatigue during long workdays. The 3-gallon fuel tank provided adequate capacity for several hours of operation. 4. Cub Cadet 1450. The Cub Cadet 1450 arrived in 1974 as part of International Harvester's acclaimed Quiet Line series, and it delivered on that promise while packing features that made it a standout in the garden tractor market. Built in Louisville, Kentucky through 1980, this 14-horsepower machine offered capabilities that many 16 and 18-horsepower competitors couldn't match. Under the hood sat a Kohler K321AQS single-cylinder engine displacing 31.3 cubic inches with a 3.5-inch bore and 3.25-inch stroke. This cast iron block design produced 14 horsepower at 3,400 RPM, while generating 23.5 Newton-meters of torque at just 2,200 RPM. That low-end grunt meant the 1450 didn't need to scream to get work done, contributing to the Quiet Line's reputation for peaceful operation. Cub Cadet fitted the 1450 with a Sunstrand hydrostatic transmission offering infinite forward and reverse gears. This setup eliminated the need for clutching or shifting, letting operators maintain constant forward motion while adjusting speed with a simple foot pedal. The transmission's 6.6-liter oil capacity ensured reliable operation across a wide temperature range. The 1450's hydraulic system set it apart from competitors. The optional hydraulic lift made raising and lowering mower decks effortless, while the independent front PTO with electric clutch provided smooth engagement without shock loads. The PTO spun at 3,400 RPM, providing ample speed to power mower decks ranging from 38 to 50 inches wide. Weighing 690 pounds with a 44-inch wheelbase, the 1450 provided excellent stability without sacrificing maneuverability. The choice between dry disc and wet disc brakes gave buyers options based on their maintenance preferences and operating conditions. With 16 by 6.50-8 front tires and 23 by 8.50-12 rear tires, this tractor offered good traction while remaining gentle on turf. Tre. John Deere 318. The John Deere 318 needs little introduction among garden tractor enthusiasts. Manufactured from 1983 to 1992, this machine became the gold standard against which all other garden tractors were measured, combining John Deere's agricultural tractor heritage with features specifically designed for serious homeowners. Powering the 318 was an Onan B43G or P218G twin-cylinder engine producing 18 horsepower. The B43G variant displaced 709 cubic centimeters, while the later P218G offered 781 cubic centimeters, both running at 3,600 RPM. These opposed twin designs delivered smooth, vibration-free operation with excellent low-end torque, making the 318 a joy to operate whether mowing, plowing, or tilling. John Deere equipped the 318 with full hydrostatic drive controlled by a dash-mounted hand lever, giving operators precise speed control without the need for constant clutching. The transmission held 7.1 liters of oil and featured a separate cooling loop to manage heat buildup during extended operation. This attention to thermal management meant the 318 could work all day without performance degradation. What truly set the 318 apart was its dual hydraulic circuits. One circuit controlled mower deck elevation, while the auxiliary circuit powered front and rear mounted implements. This dual circuit design meant operators could run a front blade or snowblower while still having independent control over other attachments. The hydrostatic power steering further reduced operator fatigue during long work sessions. The optional category 0 3-point hitch and 2,000 RPM rear PTO transformed the 318 into a genuine utility tractor. With mower deck options ranging from 38 to 50 inches, a 44 front-end loader, and various ground-engaging implements, the 318 could handle tasks typically reserved for machines twice its size. This versatility, combined with John Deere's legendary part support, explains why clean examples still command premium prices. 2. John Deere 420. When John Deere introduced the 420 in 1983, they took everything that made the 318 great and supersized it. This machine represented the company's most ambitious garden tractor yet, combining commercial-grade components with features that wouldn't look out of place on a compact utility tractor. The 420 ran on an Onan B48 or P220 twin-cylinder engine, producing 20 horsepower. These 48 cubic inch power plants delivered smooth, reliable power through opposed cylinder configurations that virtually eliminated vibration. The engines featured cast iron cylinder sleeves, full pressure lubrication, and robust construction designed for commercial duty cycles rather than occasional homeowner use. John Deere paired these engines with a hydrostatic transmission featuring a 2-speed rear differential. This high-low range setup gave operators both the precision needed for delicate mowing and the speed to cover ground quickly when traveling or snow plowing. The power steering came standard, not optional, recognizing that a machine this capable would be working hard enough to justify the feature. The 420's chassis measured larger than the 318, providing a more stable platform for the standard 60-inch mower deck. The upgraded hydraulics delivered increased flow and pressure, necessary for operating the heavier implements this tractor could handle. The Category 0 3-point hitch came with higher lift capacity, while the differential lock ensured maximum traction in challenging conditions. Weighing substantially more than the 318, the 420 sacrificed some maneuverability for increased stability and capability. The larger frame accommodated bigger fuel tanks, heavier implements, and more robust components throughout. This machine appealed to owners with larger properties or commercial operations who needed garden tractor convenience with compact tractor capability. Pirmais John Deere HT23. Taking the top spot is the John Deere 430, a machine that represented a watershed moment in garden tractor design. When it launched in 1984, the 430 became the first diesel-powered garden tractor from a major American manufacturer, setting a standard for power and longevity that remains unmatched today. At the heart of the 430 sat a Yanmar 3TNA 72UJ 3-cylinder diesel engine producing 20 horsepower. This liquid-cooled power plant displaced 855 cubic centimeters with a bore and stroke of 2.83 by 2.83 inches, running at 3,400 RPM. The 3-cylinder configuration delivered exceptionally smooth operation, while the diesel fuel meant lower operating costs and extended service intervals compared to gasoline engines. John Deere equipped the 430 with a Sunstrand 90 shaft-driven hydrostatic transmission, the most robust hydrostatic system available in a garden tractor. The transmission held 7.1 liters of oil and featured a separate charge pump maintaining system pressure regardless of operating conditions. Power steering came standard, necessary for managing this 1,170-pound machine. The 430's construction reflected John Deere's commitment to creating a garden tractor that could outlast anything else on the market. The heavy-duty frame measured 84 inches long with a 52-inch wheelbase, providing a rock-solid platform for implements. The differential lock ensured maximum traction, while mechanical drum brakes provided reliable, fade-resistant stopping power. What made the 430 truly special was its diesel engine's exceptional longevity. While gasoline engines might need major service at 2,000 hours, properly maintained 430 diesels routinely ran 5,000, 8,000, even 10,000 hours before requiring significant work. This reliability, combined with the 6.5-gallon fuel tank allowing all-day operation, made the 430 a favorite among contractors and large property owners who demanded maximum uptime. These 12 machines represent a golden era when American manufacturers built garden tractors that refused to quit. From the compact Wheelhorse Commando 8 to the diesel-powered John Deere 430, each brought farm tractor engineering to residential yards. Sure, they weighed more, cost more, and required more maintenance than modern equivalents, but they also lasted decades rather than seasons, handled attachments that would overwhelm today's equipment, and kept running when lighter machines gave up. In an age of planned obsolescence, these over-engineered classics remind us that sometimes building things to last forever makes perfect sense. If you enjoyed learning about these American-built workhorses, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into vintage equipment that changed how we maintain our properties.